taking the test, ignore the notes until you finish your test. But I do want to announce a few things. I will be here today after school for an hour, 4:30 to 5:30. This week is the last week of new grades for the third 9 weeks. So here's what I mean. Okay, this Friday, I'll probably have an assignment due. That'll be the last thing that you're going to see on this 9 weeks. Okay, now it won't be graded by Friday necessarily, but that'll be like the last new thing. And you know, we have this week and next week, and then you have spring break, and that's the end of the 9 weeks. Okay, so next week, even though it's technically part of the third 9 weeks, I'm going to push those assignments into the next grading period. Okay, I do that so that way you have extra time to get your grades up, and I'm not putting new stuff in that's going to like make your grade go down. Okay, so here's what I like to say. As of Friday, when I grade all your assignments, you're going to have what's called a frozen floor, meaning it can't go below that. Okay, so once we get the assignments in for this week, everything's graded, it can't go lower than that. So that means you have next week to really make sure you bring it up if you're not passing. Okay, you'll have again the rest of this week, and then next week you really want to get your grades where they need to be. You want to pass the third 9 weeks at minimum. Okay, because otherwise it makes you have to work harder for the fourth 9 weeks. So take care of this now. You're not having to go crazy next 9 weeks. But you want to get your credit, obviously, hopefully. Okay, so again, continue to check skyward. These test grades are going to go in soon. So if you're taking your test, I need you to finish that so that when this grade book, so you know where you're at. Okay, so again, people testing, gotta finish today. Cool. So don't worry about this at the front. Take the test, use your notes, use the notes, use your notes. On your own. Okay. Finish. Very good. All right. So on our warm up, on our warm up, I asked you to draw 4 triangles and do 4 of these things that we call at the top in your objectives. These are called transformations. Okay, so you can transform a figure into 4 things to it. And the 4 things you can do to it, I explained right here. You can draw an example of what's called a reflection, flipping it over, rotation, kind of turning it, a dilation is shrinking or growing it, and the shift is just kind of moving it. Okay, that's also translation, shifting it. Okay. Okay. So first one, if I draw a reflection, you reflect across something. Okay. So I'm going to draw this like dashed line here. If I reflect across this dashed line, let me make it look nicer. It's going to be down here. This is an example of a reflection. Okay. It's completely flipped over a line. Reflection. Okay. That's one of your transformations. Next one, rotation, just like it sounds, is when you're kind of you're turning it, so to speak. Okay, so if I wanted to turn it like this way, it could look like this. See how the right angle is now in a different spot? It's been rotated clockwise 90 degrees. Okay, that's an example of a rotation. Now the next one says dilation, which is a shrinking or a growing. Okay. Now we did this when we did similar triangles. So here's an example. I'm going to draw a smaller version of the same triangle. So it can either be smaller or it could be bigger. Okay. Also not the best at freehanding this. Okay. So it could either be shrink, you could make it grow. Either way, that's called a dilation. If you've ever heard dilated eyes, it's because your pupils are either really big or really small. Okay, that's what dilation means. Shrinking or growing a figure. And then last right there, translation is shifting it. Okay, So here's what I mean. Take this triangle and then just move it over here. Same exact triangle. That's a shift. That's a translation. Okay. Okay, so does everyone have a visual on these four transformations? Okay, you either rotate it, reflect it, dilate it, or translate it. Okay. Now I'm going to pass out these notes. I'm going to give you the rules for transformations, and we're going to show some examples. All right, so the notes sheet I gave you looks like this, okay? Now, yours is not colored. Okay? This says congruence transformations, like we already said. Those four things are transformations. Now, the vocab, pre-image, arrow, image. So here's what that stuff means. Whenever you have a transformation, there's an original and then a new one, right? So the original is what we call a pre-image, okay? So go ahead and write original underneath pre-image, okay? This is the original picture. Think of pre is before, it's the first one, and then the image is the new one after you change it. Okay? Original to the new, pre-image to the image. Okay. Now on this off to the right on this graph, we have a bunch of different triangles, but the pre-image, if you see at the top, up here is in red. Okay, so A, B, C, this red triangle is the pre-image before I mess with it at all. Okay? And the 3 points are -9, 2, -7, 4, -7, 1. So does everyone see I got 3 points for my original pre-image? Okay? Now, all down the page, I have rules to do different types of transformations. I have 3 types of reflections. I got 3 types of rotations. And then I have translation. Okay? So dilation's not on here, but it's just multiplying. Okay? But you want to know these rules for reflection. So I want to talk about these before we do an example. Okay? All the way down the page, you see X, Y, X, Y, X, Y, X, Y, right? Now, and it has an arrow to the image, and the image is something different, even just slightly, a little bit different. Okay? So let's first just look at these 3 reflections. Okay? Cool. All right. First reflection is across the x-axis. Okay? So look at your red one. If I reflect it across this horizontal x-axis, it's going to flip over and become this blue one right here. Okay? Now, here's the deal. These rules tell you how to go from these original 3 coordinates to these new blue coordinates right here. So what's the rule? So x comma y becomes x comma negative y. What's the only change from here to here? The negative sign, right? And what does that negative sign mean? It means that y value's positive negative sign has now changed. Okay? If it's negative, it becomes positive. If it's positive, it becomes negative. Okay, so that's what it means when you have a negative sign. It does not mean that it is for sure negative, because if it was already negative, it would turn up. So I want you to see it. So look at these 3 red points: -9, 2, -7, 4, -7, 1. Every one of those y values, let's change the sign. So -9, 2, that 2 will become -2. So -7, 4, that 4 will become -4. And then -7, 1, that 1 will become -1. Do you see it in these blue points right here? That the y values have changed their sign. Okay? So I want you to see how to use these rules. Let's look at reflection across the y-axis. What changed for my x comma y? xy becomes negative xy. Do you see how the negative is that means all of my x values now, I'm going to change the sign. So negative 9, 2, the negative 9 becomes positive 9. For B, the negative 7 becomes positive 7. And for C, the negative 7 becomes positive 7. Okay? These red points became these green points, and it reflected across the vertical y-axis, which was right here. Check it out. Red to green. Flips over the y-axis. Okay? Now, I'll be honest with you. Okay? You could probably do this without the rule. You can just say, hey, Mr. G, I can count units, and then count units. It's going to flip over. I know what to do. Okay? So I don't mind if you were able to visualize it. If you're more of a visual person and you can just pause the new points, that's fine. But I still want you to write down the new coordinates. Okay? But I'm telling you, if you can do the math part of this, then these rules always work. Now, everyone with me who's not taking a test, so great. What's the rule for reflection across y equals x? Okay? So first of all, y equals x. Look on the picture. It's a diagonal dashed line. Y equals x. Okay? If I'm going to flip it, if I'm going to reflect it across this diagonal y equals x line, I have a red ABC. If I flip it diagonally, it's going to come down and become this lighter purple, maybe pinkish color down here. Okay? Okay? See how that's diagonal. Now look at the rule. XY became YX. What happened between here and here? The order has switched. Okay? So sometimes the order switches. For the first two, I was only changing signs, but now on this next one, I'm actually flipping the order. So look at point A, negative 9, 2 became to negative 9. We just switched the order. Negative 7, 4 became 4, negative 7. Negative 7, 1 became 1, negative 7. All we did was switch the order for reflection across y equals x. So those are my three reflections. Now let's talk about the three rotations. Now when you're rotating, it says rotating some degrees counterclockwise. Okay? Now, which way does a clock go? I know we have phones and we don't maybe usually look at this, but look over here, above my head. Okay? An old school clock. The red second sign when it decides to move is going this way. Okay? So to the right. Okay? That's how you do clockwise. You do a circle going to the right, that's clockwise. So when you see this and it says counterclockwise, that means to the left. Okay? So if I'm going to rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise to the left, it's going to look like this orange triangle down here. The red one was rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise to make this orange triangle. What about 180? Well, that's going again to the left, rotated 180 degrees to make this yellow triangle. And then for 270, it rotated all the way over here to make this darker purple triangle. Okay? And each of these have rules. Now this is where the rules get a little more complicated because there's more than one step. Okay? Look at rotation of 90. X comma y became negative yx. What are the two changes you see here? Okay, so y became negative, meaning you changed the sign of y, and you see the order has now switched places. Okay, so x, y, switch order, y sign change. So sometimes there's two steps. Okay, what about rotating 180? X comma y becomes negative y, negative. Sorry, negative x, negative y. So on this one, the order is the same, but now they're both negative, meaning they both change their sign. Okay. for rotation, 270 is y negative x. You switch the order and the x sign changes. And then at the bottom, translation, all you're doing is adding, subtracting from x, adding or subtracting from y. Okay? So shifting left and right is adding or subtracting from x. Shifting up and down is adding or subtracting from y. Okay? Now, if all this was like, what the heck's going on? I'm going to show you on the back. Flip it over. We're going to do some examples to see how to use these rules, okay? So, first one, number one, okay? We want to reflect the quadrilateral EPRM over the x-axis, sketch the new shape, and fill in the points. Now, which one's the x-axis? Horizontal or vertical? Left to right, horizontal, okay? Remember with me, if you're not doing the test, I need you looking up here, not your phone. To the back. So if you flip this over this horizontal x-axis, it'll do this. Watch my hand. Okay, that's what you're doing. Flipping it across the x-axis. So if you're more visual, you might be like, oh, Mr. G, I can do that. I'm going to take this, flip it across, take this, flip it across, flip this across, flip this across. You can do it that way. That's fine. But I still need to know what are your new points. But what we're going to do is use these rules on the front side of the notes. So everybody, what I want you to do first is write down the original points, EPRM, in this blank space. EPRM. Not the new points, the original points. So you tell me, E, what is the coordinates of E right here? What is the X, Y axis? Can you make sure he's up? Okay. E. So how far to E is, what's the X value right here? What's the Y value right here? What do y'all think? The coordinates of E. So if it goes 2 to the right and up 1, right? So what am I going to write for E? What's the X? What's the Y? Okay, 2 comma 1 because it's 2 to the right and 1 up. Okay. Does everyone know how to do coordinate points on a grid, X comma Y? What about P? It's on the x-axis right here. What's the X comma Y of P? 1, 0. Okay, R is over to the right 1 and down 1, so that's 1, negative 1. And what about M? What do y'all think? 4 to the right, 4 down. 4, negative 4, okay? So is everyone with me? You got to be able to write down the original points, right? Instead of being on your phone. Right? Okay, now, here's where we're going to do our rule. I'm going to read it. Number 1 says to do what? What's the first word it says? Reflect. Now, I got to keep reading over the X, not the Y, not Y equals X. It's reflect over X. So let's go back to the front side. I'm looking for reflect over X. And there it is. The first rule. When it says to reflect over X, XY becomes X, comma, negative Y. I want to write this rule on number 1. X, comma, negative Y. So let's flip it over. The rule is X, comma, negative Y. What am I going to do? I'm going to change the positive negative sign of the y's. Okay? Change the positive slash negative sign of y. Okay, so here's the deal. Take all the four original points, look at all these y values, and change the sign of y. So positive 1 becomes, again, we're changing all these signs. Positive 1 becomes what? And then 0 stays 0. There's no sign over here. Negative 1 becomes positive 1. Negative 4 becomes positive 4. Okay? Let's write those new points down. 2, negative 1, 1, 0, 1, positive 1, 4, positive 4. All I did was change the sign of the y's right here. Okay? Now, can you plot those new points on the graph? Let's do that. So 2, negative 1, 2, negative 1 is supposed to be E prime. That's what that little dash means. 1, comma 0 is P prime. 1, comma 1 is R prime. And then 4, comma 4 is M prime. Okay? But what you want to do is connect those 4 points, those new points, and it should look like it's been reflected across the x-axis. Okay? So M prime to R prime, R to P. All right. And there you have it. We reflected across the x-axis using our rule x comma negative y. Okay. Okay, number 2. So it's below. Number 2 says rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. Let's go ahead and underline that. Rotate. And then I'm going to put 90 degrees. So first thing we want to do is write these original points, B, D, and X. So B, D, X. What's the coordinates of B? 1, comma 0. And then letter D, right here, the coordinates are 0, negative 3. And then X, what are the coordinates of X? What do y'all think? 4, and if it goes down 1, it would be negative 1. 4, negative 1. Rule. So to rotate 90, there it is. X comma y becomes negative y comma x. Negative yx. Let's go ahead and write that down next to number 2. Negative y comma x. Does everyone see the two changes on that rule? Negative yx means I changed the sign of the y and I flipped the order. Okay? So let's write that down. I'm going to change the positive/negative sign of y and switch the order. Negative yx. Change the sign of all the y's and then flip the order. So let's think about changing the sign of the y. On b, my y value is 0, that doesn't change. Okay? And then switch the order, what's that going to be? Okay, 0, 1, yes. And on the next one, yes, we change that -3, the y value to a +3 and flip it. So 3, 0 is correct. And the last one, 1, 4, because we changed the sign of the y, the -1 became a +1. We flipped the order. So 1, 4. Okay, so you use the rules, everything's good. Now plot these points. Okay, so 0, 1 is going to be right here. That's my b prime. 3, 0 is right here. That's my d prime. 1, 4 is my x prime. So again, I use my rule, negative yx, change the sign of the y's, flip the order, plot them, and now I can connect these, make straight lines as best I can. All right. Now, doesn't that look like it's been rotated 90 degrees? Cool. All right, we got 2 more to do kind of quickly here. So let's look at number 3. Everyone's looking at number 3. If you're testing, your time is short. I need that done today. So on number 3, let's go ahead and write down these 4 points, A, K, M, and D. So A is 3 left, 3 up, so that's -3, 3. K is 3 left, 5 up, so that's -3, 5. M is 1 left, 5 up, so -1, 5. And letter D is doesn't move left or right, that's 0, and then 2 up is 2. Okay, so those are your 4 original points. You should be able to get x, y for any point. So I'm going to start at those 4 points. Now, let's read it. It says translate, which means shift. 1 to the left and 4 down. 1 left, 4 down. Now, y'all know left means negative, so that's -1 with the x value. And then 4 down takes the y value, and down is -4. Okay, so there's more than one way to do this, but if you're going to use a rule, your rule is going to be take the x and subtract 1, take the y and subtract 4, because it's left 1 and down 4. From the graph if you rather do it that way, but then you still need to give me the coordinates. Okay, so for K, again, starting here, I go left 1, down 4, 4, that's my K prime. A, left 1 down 4, that's my A prime. M, left 1 down 4, that's my M prime. D, left 1 down 4, that's my D prime. And then I can connect these with the straightest lines I could possibly make freehand, not doing too well. So my pre-image is on top, and then my new ones is my image. Now, you can like I said, you can take those new points and just write the new coordinates down, or take the originals, subtract 1 from the x, subtract 4 from the y. I'm going to do it that way. So for A, -3 minus 1, -4. And then for my y, -3 minus 4 is -7. Oh, my bad. This is a +3. My bad. So -3 minus 4 is -1. That's how I got A prime. That's good. Okay, K prime, -3, 5. So subtract 1 from the x, subtract 4 from the y, you get -4, 1. Okay, M prime, subtract 1 from -1, I get -2. Subtract 4 from 5, I get 1. -2, 1 is my M prime. And then subtract 1 from 0 to get -1. Subtract 4 from 2 to get -2, -1, -2. Okay. All right. So again, there's more than one way to do it. You can create the rule and apply the rule to the points, or you can look at the coordinate grid graph and actually move them, replot them, and then tell me the points. Two ways to do that. Okay. But you got to be able to translate it to shift it over. Okay. Now, last one on here is number 4. Okay, if you haven't been understanding this so far and you're done with your test, okay, follow me closely. Okay, you can't understand this right now. Okay, here's what you do every time. You read it. What is the first word it says? Reflect. Okay, then I need to know reflect what? Keep reading. Reflect over y equals x. Let's underline that. Reflect over y equals x. So again, go to the front side. We're reflecting over y equals x. Which one is that? Well, here it is in the middle. X comma y became y comma x. What happens to our point? Xy becomes yx. All I did was switch the order. Okay? So let's do that on number 4. We're just going to switch the order. So again, y comma x is my rule. I got that from the front side. And I'm going to need to write down these 4 points, H, N, V, Q. H is 4 left, 2 up, -4, 2. N does not move left or right, it just goes up 3, so that's 0, comma 3. V is 2 right, 2 up, 2, comma 2. And then Q is 3 left, and it doesn't go up or down, so -3, comma 0. Now, take all 4 of those points. And again, if you have xy becoming yx, you're just going to switch the order of x and y. So you tell me, what does -4, 2 become? -4, 2, just switch them. What's it going to be? 2, -4, right? Everyone with me? 2, -4. All I did was switch the order. Don't change the signs, just switch the order, okay? So 2, -4 goes down here as my H prime. N prime, 0, 3 becomes 3, 0. Switch the order, okay? Okay, V 2 comma 2. If you switch 2 comma 2, it stays 2 comma 2. Okay, so that's my V prime. And then negative 3, 0. If I switch it, it becomes 0, negative 3. All I'm doing is flipping the order. So 0, negative 3. Why does this look weird? Something's not right. So reflecting it across this diagonal line. Ah, 2, negative 4s over here. My bad, my bad, my bad. H prime is supposed to be over there. 2, negative 4. I was doing negative 2, 4. My bad. Okay, so this is my Q prime. So I take those 4 points, and then I'm going to connect them with straight lines, hopefully. Now, doesn't that look like it's been reflected across y equals x, the diagonal line? Points, write them as new points, graph them, and you'll be able to do the assignment. But this assignment on transformations is what we're going to be doing the rest of the week. It's the last grade of the third 9 weeks, but a lot of us still need to catch up and do corrections, so make sure you're doing what you need to do.